All right, go. Tell them about the question.
All right. Well, here's where we're at. We've been asked for our podcast to clarify or to help settle a debate. What gender is Godzilla? We've brought in our resident expert here, Mr. Tommy Haire, and he's going to weigh in on the subject and see what happens. I've already got a page full of notes here. This qualifies as a page.
It fills up the whole thing, and it's a piece of paper. So yes, it is a page.
There we go. So yeah, what do we got?
Well, it depends on which Godzilla series you go by. The original Showa was definitely a male, despite the movie Son of Godzilla. If you actually watch the movie, you cannot use the argument that Minya was his son, he laid an egg. No, he did not lay the egg. We never see him lay the egg. He goes onto the island after Minya is being attacked by the Kamacuras. Minya sends out a call, and Godzilla comes. We never see we're supposed to assume he adopts the monster, and we're not even sure if Minya is a Godzilla with himself. He doesn't really look like Godzilla, he doesn't sound like Godzilla, but he's a baby, and Godzilla kind of fathers the baby monster as his own. However, the Heshi Godzilla, I do think is a female. From 1985 to 1995, the movies between those, in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, it is kind of hinted that Godzilla did lay Junior, and Rodan stole the egg because I forget Rodan was some kind of like a scavenger when it came to babies. I don't know, and it would raise it as its own. But and that was like the whole reason Godzilla and Rodan fought the first part of Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. As far as I know, in the rest of the Millennium series, there was no continuity between the Millenniums, so you could all say whether or not those Godzillas were male or female. I personally think, for the most part, Godzilla was a male. Plus it's just easier to refer to him as a he. I know a lot of fans out there would like to think he's a female, and there's no argument to it. I mean, but I just see more proof that he's male.
Well, see, I've come up with some interesting results here when digging around. First and foremost, which would seem to be the most compelling piece of evidence, was that in 1968, Toho Studios released a press release saying that baby Godzilla's mother is Godzilla, apparently a different creature. Though there's been no evidence or explanation as to who this character is, where they are, never actually shown up in any movies whatsoever.
No references in the movies or anything to a monster named Godzilla.
Exactly. But apparently Toho, in their mythology, are saying that that character exists. Also, in reference to Godzilla's Revenge, Minya directly calls Godzilla, rather, I'm just reading my notes here, directly calls Godzilla dad and father, although the entire movie apparently happens in a child's imagination. So whether or not that can be taken as canon for what's actually going on in the monster world, or the so-called real world of the movies, is debatable. But the other thing, the counterpoint, is the official game site for Godzilla 2000, as found on www.atari.com/Godzilla. Apparently the game profile there calls Godzilla a she. I would like to think that they would get their act together and be in contact with the people who licensed their title to know what gender the titular character is.
Yeah, because that's what Atari does.
But then I also encountered a couple rumors. There's a rumor out there that suggests that perhaps the first Godzilla died in one of the movies.
Yeah, and the first one. They were mates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the subsequent Godzillas were actually the first one's mate.
And are you sure it was Godzilla, not Gojira? Maybe Godzilla and Gojira?
No, it actually directly says Godzilla. I don't have that one tab open anymore, but I can find it again real quick, I think.
So what's the final, I guess, consensus on this?
He's male.
All right. Tommy says male.
I'm going with there are probably multiple ones, or it's ambiguous enough that there's room for either answer to be correct. I like that neither of us brought up the American one, because that didn't happen.
That's not Godzilla, that's Gino. Godzilla in name only.
Let's see, here we go.
Watch Final Wars.
Bill Hemmer sent me the following tidbit of information. According to Toho Studios, Baby Godzilla's mom is called Godzilla, a combination, I presume, of Gojira and Godzilla. They are, however, unable to supply details about her current whereabouts. Perhaps a future movie. His source is the Encyclopedia of Monsters by Jeff Rovin, 1989. The relevant article states that the information originally came from a Toho press release dated 1968.
Yeah. We may never know.
There are different Godzillas. One could be a female, one could be a male. Different versions.
Equal opportunity. We're not sexist here.
I am.